Hey guys, this is Aaron from Geeky Development and welcome to our XCode tutorials. And in this tutorial I'll be showing you how to support the iPhone 5 screen in your applications. Now already I have my project set up. It's a simple single view application for the iPhone and I've simply named it Support iPhone 5 Screen for the purpose of this tutorial. Now there's a few parts of this tutorial we're going to go through. What we're trying to create is basically how we can distinguish an iPhone, well, pre-iPhone 5 screens like the iPods and the 4Ss and the 4s and 3GSs and so on, how to have them on one side and then kind of have the iPhone 5 screen on the other side working as like almost, not so much as in two separate apps, but as in two different parts, as if you were creating like a universal application. So we're going to start by simply how to detect the screen sizes. So what we're going to do is go into our viewcontroller.xib and just place in a label. And what we're going to do is, if the screen size is that of the 4S for 3GS, the smaller smaller screen. If it's of that size, it will display a certain text, but then if it's the size of the iPhone 5 screen, it will display a different type of text. And by doing this, we can differentiate the sizes, so we can set stuff how we want in iPhone 5 and set it how we want in anything else. So if we just create this label and place that in there. Make sure it's the outlet, so just call it label. And then jump into our viewcontroller.m. And in the view did load section here, we're going to start by typing if, and in the condition here, we do UI underscore user interface here, space equals space UI user interface iPhone. So we're using the iPhone because we're not going to do it with iPad, as the iPad doesn't have extended screens as the iPhone does with the 5 and the 4S and so on. So just me with iPhone here. So in the statements here, we do another if statement. So if So in the statement here, what we're going to do is CG size, let's give it a name, result, space equals space bracket bracket UI screen, main screen, space bounds, and after that bracket we do dot size, and that with a semicolon. Press enter, so then we do if result dot height equals 480. So this is the pixels, because the old iPhones was 320 by 480. Well, the height was 480, and now I believe the iPhone 5 screen, I think, don't go with me on this one, but I think it's 568. Just off the top of my head, I could be wrong, but it's a lot bigger than 480. So if it's that, in the statement, we want label.text to equal @ quotation mark, and that was semicolon. So if it's that size, which would mean it is iPhone 4S and 4 and so on. And after the curly bracket here out, we do else label dot text equals iPhone 5, and that with a semicolon. So what we're doing when the application loads up, it's going to detect that it's an iPhone. Once it's detected that it's an iPhone, it's going to look for the screen sizes. And if the height of the screen size equals, how we set here, 480, it will display this in the label iPhone 4S, 4 and so on, going downwards from the in models. And if it doesn't detect that it's a 480 screen, the only other option is the iPhone 5 screen. And so once it detects that it's not 480, it's going to display iPhone 5 in the label. So if we just build and run on the simulator and show you exactly how it works. So we just wait for it to load up now. So you see here is the iPhone 4 simulator here. And as you see, it says iPhone 4S, 4 and so on, as it all has the same screen size. Now if I went to hardware, device, iPhone 4 4-inch Retina. So if I scroll along now and find its support here, you can see at the top it says iPhone 5. So there we have detected and kind of like supported the label to display certain information depending on what screen size we're in. Now we're going to take it one step further. Now we're going to do it as we want to have different interfaces, because it gets a little bit, it can get a little bit complicated. We can do this code all we like and code like web views to size this way, images to size this way, buttons placed here, and so on and so on. It can get confusing, but we can cut it all out and save us half the time by having two different interfaces for one class. So we can have, just like we do universal, we have an iPhone and iPad XIB for the one class. We're going to do it how we have the standard iPhone view. So go into here, click on the view, and we're going to have the size. We can have, this one will be 3.5. Then we'll have a completely new interface which will support the 4-inch screen, the iPhone 5 screen, and it will be also linked up to our same view controller class. Now to do that, we need to first add a new interface. So we go to use interface, click on view, make sure it's for iPhone, and just simply name it. It's got to be the same as the class you want to link it up to. So we do view controller. Now we need to make it differentiate from the current interface. So I'll just put X2. So once that's loaded in here, right, so we've got the iPhone 3.5 inch screen and then the 4-inch screen. Now we need to link it up to our view controller class. So we click Files Owner and then click on the Identity Inspector. In the class we do View Controller. By doing that, click on Files Owner, go to the connections. You have to relink our view up, add in our label, just center the label text, and then link up the label. So we can save that on both our interfaces there. So our view controller X2 interface is now linked up to our view controller H and M, and it's gonna display in the text just as it does in our view controller XIB. But the problem we got now is when we load up our app, how will it know which interface to load? So if it is the iPhone 5, sorry. So if it is the iPhone 5, how will it know to load up view controller X2 rather than view controller.xib? So what we do is, just like we did here, we can just copy and paste this, but let me jump into our app delegate. And where we have our self.viewController with, in it with nib name view controller, just before that, paste in that code there. Get rid of the label code, so you're left with 2 blank gaps. Copy this line here, copy it, and just delete it from there. Paste it here and here. So basically what's going to happen now, it's going to detect that it's an iPhone. Once it does, it'll detect the screen size is 480, and by doing that, it's going to load up our view controller with the interface of the name view controller. Now if it's not a 480 screen and it detects that it's the iPhone 5 screen, then it's going to load up our view controller. But instead of loading up the view controller interface, we put X2 at the end. It will now load up our view controller class, but we'll load up the iPhone 5 4-inch view instead. So if you go to build and run now, just wait for it to load up. I think we've got it set on the iPhone 5 simulator. Yeah, we have. So as you can see, it loads up now, iPhone 5 in the label. But as you can see, it's a white background compared to the 3.5, which was grey. And there's white. So if we jump to get rid of the Retina. I don't want the Retina. Get rid of to the iPhone, as it's a smaller screen. And we find now, scroll across support there. And now it's the grey screen, and 4S, 4, and so on. So now we have basically application loads up, finds out if it's an iPhone, detects which screen size it is, then loads up that specific XIB for the sizes. And then once it does load up, it again detects if it's iPhone and which screen size it is, and then displays that certain information within that screen size in the label. So this way is a quick and easier way for you to design applications, because just say you've created a nice little template on Photoshop, you import it in, then you realise, crap, now I need to do some modifications, some tweaks, code it, this image view will start here and end here, just so it can support iPhone 5. But by this way, adding an extra XIB, you can carry on with your design, go back into Photoshop, make it a little bit bigger, and then put it into your additional XIB for iPhone 5. Now we've done that, we're going to take it one step further, and now we're going to switch to a new view. So what we simply need to do is then create a new file, Cocoa Touch Objective-C class, and we'll name it second view. Create that into our project. Let's place it underneath our view controller. And again, as you can see, the view controller is preset to iPhone 4. So if we just adjust it to 3.5, there we go. We're going to add a label in, just like we did on our view, main view. So then once we've done that, we need to go to our view controller XIB and add in a button which will enable us to switch to our second view. Now if we paste that into our iPhone 5 view as well on the main bit, and then go into our .h and then create the action. So switch view, and have a semicolon. We just copy it, save us a bit of time, paste that in. Okay, and so now once you've got the button all linked in, we need to go into our interfaces and link the buttons up. So switch view there, touch up inside, and for our iPhone 5 view there, switch up inside. So jump back into our .m, now we need to add the code to enable us to switch views. So if you just import our second view, just to make our view controller aware there is a second view, then go to our switch view code. Now previously we would have coded it like this, so we'll put second view space asterisk second space bracket second view alloc space init with nib name and then nil again bracket semicolon, and then we would have done self present view controller second animated yes completion no. Now that's how we would have done it on our switching views tutorial. And there seems to be an error here, so let's find out what it is. That's why, because we're missing the equal sign there, sorry. got a bit confused there. I mean, but anyway, carry on there. So that's basically how we would have switched views previously. But say we have this functionality. Yeah, it works fine and everything, but it doesn't detect which screen we want to switch to. So what we would do is get our little code here that makes us able to detect the screen sizes. And what we would do is copy our switch view code. So if it's if the screen detects that it's 480, we want it to in it with nib name, at symbol quotation mark, we put in second view. Now else, if it's iPhone 5, in it with nib name, we do second view X2. But we haven't added our X2 viewing yet. So we go to File, New, User Interface, View, iPhone, call it second view X2. We place that in, click on Files Owner, go to our inspector here, and in the NS object class here, we do second view. Save that, click on Files Owner. For some reason it's not linking up, one sec. Where have I gone? Oh, I missed the capital on view there, so make sure it's case sensitive and it can get a bit funny. Now we link up our view there. Save that. So when we go to switch view now, we detect this on iPhone, detect the screen size. If it's the 4S downwards, it will switch to our second view with the nib name second view. If it's iPhone 5, it will switch to the same view, but instead load up a different XIB, which is second view.x2. So if we add the label in, just like we've done on our second view.xib, go to the .h of our second view, and we'll add the IB outlet UI label of our label, because we're going to also detect in our label again, like we do on the main view, in our second view, just so you can see on the simulator how it's working. So in our XIB, we link up the label and link up the label again. So then if we go to our simulator here, let's close it down and reopen it. So if we build and run, so once it loads up, we switch to our view and uploads our view. So we haven't added our code in, so if we just go to our view control.m, we can copy and paste the code because it's exactly the same. Place it in our view did load, and there we go. Change the name of that label as it hasn't got capital on that one. So build and run once more. Let's close the simulator down so it doesn't cause an error as we build it. So we just wait for it to load up once more. And this time when we switch views, the label should display the text according to the screen size. So we switch to a view, and for exactly the same, there we go. And we can change it to the Retina one, the iPhone 5 one. So support there. So we go to switch, brings up the iPhone 5 one. Now we're going to want to be able to switch back from that view. So placing the button, go back, copy it, and then paste it in. And then go to our second view.h, dash, bracket, IB action, go back, and now a semicolon. Let's copy it, save some time. Second view.m, paste that in. Now, as we don't need to detect anything at the moment, all we're doing is just dismissing the view. So there's no need to detect what iPhone or if it's iPad or what screen size it is, because it's the same action whatever we do. So do bracket self dismiss view controller animated yes, completion no, and that with a semicolon. So we're just going to our XIBs now and link up them buttons and the XIB there, link that one up, and then we go to build and run. And then when we switch to our view, and then we switch to our second view, and be able to switch back to our main view. So we'll just wait for the simulator to load up now. Okay, so it's set on the iPhone 5 one, so we switch to our view, detects that it's still iPhone 5 with the iPhone 5 view, and then go back. Change the hardware for our device to iPhone, the smaller screen. Let's find it there. There we go. So switch to our view, detects that it's the smaller screen, go back and dismiss it back to our main view. So that's simply how you can support your application for the iPhone 5. I showed you two ways we can programmatically do it, detecting what it is and changing the label to do what the screen size is, kind of thing. And the other way is to load up different XIBs and design your application with different interfaces and whatnot. So I hope this helps in your apps or projects at the moment. If you haven't, make sure you subscribe and make sure you like and favourite the video, as it really does help us out, getting us more people to view our video and more people can learn from our tutorials. And make sure you like and favourite us on Facebook and Twitter. Also check out all the apps on the App Store just by simply searching Geeky Lemon. But once again, if you haven't, make sure you subscribe, and I'll see you all next time in our next tutorial.
Thank you for watching this tutorial by Geeky Lemon Development. Be sure to follow them on Twitter and like them on Facebook. Oh, and check out all of their other tutorials and sample projects on their website, geekylemon.com. But most importantly, please download their awesome iPhone and iPad apps by searching Geeky Lemon on the App Store. And please remember to subscribe.